Welcome back to News 5 at 9. The time now is 9:12. And this morning we are talking about managing our debt. And joining us this morning is Mark Davidson with Cornerstone Investment. You've always given us great advice in the past. And this is actually a good time for people to start looking at their debt. It's the beginning of the year. What is the one big problem that we all have when it comes to paying our bills?
Well, we need to make sure that we pay off those debts that are going to encumber us the most. And right before we went on, we were talking about kind of ranking your debt from the highest interest rate that you pay to the lowest interest rate. And you want to go ahead and knock those high interest rate credit cards out as soon as possible, because that's something where you're paying an interest rate that's higher than you're likely to earn on any other asset.
Okay, now one of the things that we have on our screen is effective use of borrowing, and you just said pay off the highest rates first. Those are usually credit cards, is that correct?
Most often, yes.
Okay.
And beyond that, you've got different kinds of debt that you borrow for, and debt can be long or short term. But if you've got an auto loan that has a 5% interest rate, that might be less important than paying off a credit card that has a 10% interest rate. Or if you've got a student loan that you've got a tax advantaged rate on because the government gives you a rebate for the interest that you pay, then you might want to pay that after you pay off, say, an auto loan. So you kind of rank these in order and take care of those highest costs first.
Okay, and you were talking about those decisions, the interest rate, the fixed or variable. Explain what that means for some people who don't know. What is the difference between those two?
The difference between a fixed rate and a variable rate. A fixed rate is one where you enter a contract that, in essence, sets your interest rate over the course of the period that you're borrowing the money. And let's say you get into a mortgage that has a 6% rate. Over the next 30 years, you're going to pay 6% interest on that money. If you set up the contract with a variable rate, it may alternate based on market forces. So if market interest rates go up, then your interest rate may become higher in subsequent periods. And a lot of people have been stuck with debt that they didn't quite understand. And when we talk about the subprime crisis, a lot of people entered into these obligations at low kind of teaser rates, and they got stuck as interest rates moved up, and all of a sudden their payments moved from, say, $600 a month to $850 a month.
Okay.
Well, $600 a month they could afford, but $850 it's a whole lot more difficult.
Okay, teaser rates. You just mentioned that. I've never heard of that before.
Well, a teaser rate is a rate that can be used to entice somebody into an arrangement. And with respect to the mortgages, they weren't necessarily teaser rates. They were just kind of introductory rates based on lower interest rates in the market. A teaser rate might be a 6-month rate on a credit card that's 3%, and then after that 6-month period, it moves up to 13% or something like that. And a lot of people will use these teaser rates to move from credit card to credit card to credit card and keep that rate at 0% or at 3% or at 5%, and as soon as it goes up, they'll just move their money around to another credit card which is offered another teaser rate. Okay,
so how difficult is it to get out of all of this?
Well, it depends upon how badly you've gotten into it. If you've got discretionary money that you can use to pay down your debt, say $150 or $200 a month, you can gradually work your way out of a debt trap. But if you've got a considerable amount of debt, we talked to somebody the other day who had roughly $30,000 in debt, and all of a sudden their interest rates on their cards were 25, 30% because they had missed so many payments, and I don't know if they're going to be able to move themselves out of that position.
Wow. Well, Mark, thank you again for your great financial advice. If you have any questions for Mark, you can give him a call. His number is 626-6292, and we'll be right back.